everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, a Terrace House Podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I am Robert Scarpanito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm.
Konbanwa.
Jack Cepeda.
Tadaima.
He's back, guys. And Colin Sparling.
Japanese words.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of something clever.
Good. Great. Off to a good start. It is December 26th, day after Christmas if you celebrate that. Hope you and yours enjoyed your wonderful Christmas times and Yuletides, whatever. Today we are talking about episode 36 of Opening You Doors of Terrace House. First and Last Date. It's a very ominous title. Although it doesn't really reflect what happens in the episode. I don't know about you guys. This is definitely not my favorite episode of Terrace House. I kind of felt it was a little bit kind of mellow.
I feel like we've been kind of spoiled though the last couple this whole part so far. We've gotten a lot of episodes that have been very fast moving with a lot of stuff going on. A lot of member changes, a lot of crazy shit going on, a lot of crazy backstory. And so, like, this episode in comparison, which is a little bit, like, I mean, it's pretty standard Terrace House, right? People talking about going places.
And eating.
And eating.
Damn it.
Doing lots of eating. But, I mean, we're calling this a slow episode, and there's two members that announced that they're leaving. So
I mean,
we'll get to that.
there was, somber, I would say. Yeah, I don't know if it was mellow. I mean, there were definitely some major events going on.
No.
It wasn't boring, though. I wouldn't say it's boring.
No,
it's just a little slower.
No, and we'll talk about it later, but I was actually, like, crying at one of the events, like, in laughter.
Whoa.
It's something that happened later on, so we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. So we start off the episode as every episode starts with our panel reintroducing us to Terrace House. And we learn in this little fun fact, Yama had an interview with Elle magazine, which, like, that's just really cool to hear. Like, It's showing, like, the show's getting a lot of international buzz, which is the reason why we're doing this show, maybe. But I mean, it's just cool to hear that, like, Terrace House is becoming so popular.
Yeah, if I remember, I don't know if it was like Elle, like American Elle. I think it was a European Elle. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, still a big brand name, and still, you know, is indicative, right, of how far this show is going from its beginnings.
And it kind of went to show too how people look to Terrace House as the example of, like, what Japanese culture, especially modern Japanese culture, is like, because they asked Yama a lot about, like, Japanese dating culture, and it's like everyone seems to be going pretty slow, whereas Japan has a reputation for people rushing into marriages. And I don't really like his answer necessarily for that. I don't know if we can say that that's entirely accurate, that women want to, like, lock down men before they escape. He used the word escape. So, but simultaneously, I think that is a good indicator of how Terrace House is better representing Japanese culture on a whole more than anime ever could.
Right. That was so funny too when you was like, are the Elle editors still here? That's a terrible answer.
Yeah.
Let me give you a better answer. Yeah.
Seriously, that was a really bad answer. I mean, you know, my wife and I joke, you know, but when we first started dating, we bought a love sack, like one of those big giant beanbag pillows. It was like $600, and like we joked, like, yeah, we split that. Now you definitely can't break up with me now.
Oh my god,
that's how you lock it down.
Love sack together for $600. Like we're basically married, and we have a joke about that. But it's just, it was a really bad answer, right?
Well, so here's the question though, Jack. Is that beanbag chair in your marriage photos?
No, it didn't make it. It didn't make the trip at all.
Took all my marriage photos on this love sack.
Did you mention it in your vows? The reason I'm marrying you is because of that love sack we bought.
You know, I didn't want to return this love sack. It was $600.
Are you gonna write that into your will, like on your dying day?
Seriously, no. It's just so funny how things change.
Your widowed wife opens your will, and it's like, I leave you this love sack.
I leave you
Nothing
my
else.
half of the love sack.
$600.
I want to be buried with the love sack.
Right? Yeah, we're gonna fight over custody. Like, who gets it in whose casket? Yeah, we split it in half. No, but it's just so funny. Like, $600 is nothing to sneeze at, right? But like $600 in college is a lot different than $600 after you started a career.
Bet your ass it is.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
So we turn to the six people on the show, and it opens up with a shot at Cafe Bohemia, which is a hipster ass sounding cafe, where Aya's talking with someone named Maya Amano, who is not necessarily a famous celebrity by any means, but she does work at some kind of fashion retail industry of some kind. And Aya's working out, she's using her connections maybe to get an internship in the industry.
That scene was missing a little bit of context for me. So, like, was she going to work in, like, the colored contacts area of a department store? Or
yeah, there was just to your point, Jack, there was a lot of, I feel like, words just kind of thrown out there. She's like, I'm going to work with this, that, this, and this and that, but also this, maybe a little bit of this, and you're also writing about that. And I'm like, what exactly is this?
Yeah.
I'm just still confused on what exactly it is. And then I think she mentioned like PR and marketing of some sort too.
That was thrown out there.
As far as what I could gather, it seems like during this interim period between when she was going to school and when she's in Terrace House and when whatever happens in the future for her, she's an Instagrammer. So it seems like she mentioned that she had been paid to do like posts a couple times before.
Right.
So she's moving from just having like a couple random sponsored posts to maybe being like a spokesperson as part of this brand that Maya was telling her about. That's what it seems like to me, which can be a very nebulous job, especially in the world of like influencers and how new that is.
So she has such a presence on Instagram. People pay her to repost shit. Can we get that deal? Shit.
I mean, look, let's be honest. If you're on Terrace House, you've got that Instagram following.
Guess so. Damn.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of being on the show. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So we cut now to the playroom where Aya is actually talking to Yui, and she explains more about like how she's an Instagrammer and basically everything Daily has said, right? And then Yui kind of catches on. She's like, "Wait, are you telling me you're leaving Terrace House?"
Oh,
and that was kind of heartbreaking.
Instant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was heartbreaking, but at the same time, like they kind of allude to, and this happened once before, but it like Yui was talking about how her and Aya had such a great friendship, right? Even though we don't see much of it.
It develops. You see it slowly develop.
Yeah.
And they definitely are close.
It's not hit you in the face obvious though. I don't know. It was kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one. It was a little bit jarring to hear that they were so close of friends when we don't really see it all that much. It was kind of like the same thing between Tsubasa and I believe Ami.
Yeah.
Right. How we're like, they were that close? I mean, you don't really see them interacting a whole lot.
Unfortunately, I would love like a little bit longer episodes of Terrace House to show those kind of relationships. The ones that aren't necessarily so romantically focused, but more just, building a bond between friends.
But romance is all that matters, Jack. Why do I care?
I know,
about
but
romance?
I want my second show. I just want friendship shows.
No, yeah, you know what? I feel your sentiment, Jack, because it's obvious that they don't really care too much as to how long these episodes are. They usually range anywhere from like 25 minutes all the way up to like 45, 49 minutes. Like there's been episodes that are closer to 50 minutes long.
It's pretty loose.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think that anyone's really going to be pissed off if they have a little bit of extra footage in there. And I'm sure they have it. You know what I mean? It's not like there's no way they didn't have any footage of Tsubasa and Ami or in this case, Yui and Aya, like just getting to know each other better.
Speaking of things we'd like to see, I'll make this short. I would just love to see, like, at the end when someone leaves the house, guess what? Like, the next step is they have to go and sit on the panel for like 15 minutes and basically get grilled. Like, that's the path out of the house. I wish that was a thing.
I like that. Exit through the panel shop.
Yeah.
Gift shop. I like that.
Yeah.
As much as I hate the phrase, but to play devil's advocate here.
Whoa.
We've made the point several times over that it would be boring to have like happy couples in Terrace House. Like that's why once they get together, they graduate. Would it be the same when it's just, like happy friendships?
Maybe just a little here or there. I don't need overkill. I just like, but I don't like being blindsided. Like, wait, Ami and Tsubasa are really close. Like what? Like I just don't want to be blindsided by it is all.
Yeah. I even if it's just something as simple as them going out and doing something, together, or just a small conversation, something that's going to give a little bit more context. I'm not saying I need, a 10-minute block of exposition with these two house members. You know what I mean? Even like a 30-second something would help.
And what you're talking about there is much like the date that we are going to be discussing here soon between two friends.
Just two friends.
Two
That's
dude
it.
friends. Friend
Two
dudes.
dudes chilling in a hot tub 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, like, I guess to your point, right, about like watching two people be happy isn't necessarily interesting TV. I think that think about it this way, right? When it comes to books or movies, TV shows, romance is a genre. Friendship kind of isn't, right? Like, you're not really like, because romance inherently comes with, there's drama and tension. Like, do they bang? Do they not? I don't know. We'll find out. But with friends, I mean, it's like, it's kind of, there's less expectations about a good story between two friends because friendship kind of pops up in every story, right?
Do they get a beer and then play Fortnite together later and then go to bed by themselves?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, friendship is used more so as like a theme rather than a genre. It's more like the power of friendship. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and I think what we're really talking about more is kind of like the breaking continuity, I guess, right, Colin? That's kind of what we're referring to.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
On the storytelling of this show is really what we're saying.
Right.
Yeah, so
Go ahead,
I'm just saying I wouldn't mind like a friend date, like seeing them go out to get coffee or something, or just seeing them maybe go do an activity outside to kind of just showcase like, yeah, they are friends. They do hang out. They're not just scripted to be friends because, it creates more drama in the house. It's just like, yeah, they actually became friends. But I still wouldn't want to see like every week, like, here's these two friends doing this thing and then these two friends doing that thing, right? Because then it's just like,
right. It's just a matter of like good editing, and it's like how much of it can be assumed as opposed to how much context do you need in order to understand what's going on. Like, they've done it okay in the past, like especially between Taka and I believe Shion when they go to like Sasa and stuff like that toward the beginning of the series, and they just go on friend dates. And I mean, we saw it a lot too in Boys and Girls in the City. I feel like we saw it pretty frequently.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah.
Yeah, I definitely remember like Tap and someone else going out, and then like a whole bunch of other people, but
Tap.
I digress.
Fucking Tap.
Dude.
Friendo.
We'll get there.
Okay. So yeah, Aya confirms, she's leaving. And just one thing I wanted to point out with the scene with her and Yui right in the playroom is like Yui talked about how she got up early just to make Aya breakfast. And her reasoning's cute because it's like, because I get to hang out with you, but it's still like, man, you gotta like someone a lot.
Man, that
She's
scene
the mom
hit,
friend.
She is, and that scene I was getting to tear up a little bit. I mean, it's hitting me right in my kokoro.
Oh man, he's learning Japanese, guys.
Kokoro ga itain.
Is your kokoro going doki doki?
It was at that scene. It was just it was sad because that illustrated to me how close Yui and Aya are. Like, she's picking up on it just based on what she's hearing her say.
For sure. So we cut now to the kitchen where Sota, Shun, Mayo, and Kaito are there. And God, so Sota like walks in, and I feel like every time we first talk about Sota, it's just another reason to hate him. But he walks in, the camera pans to the blackboard, and it still has the like, oh, happy birthday, Maya, like good old decorations. And he's just walking in, fucking like Scrooge McDuck up his ass, and just, are we still in birthday mode? You can't be special forever. Erase the board. Like, it's not your birthday anymore, bitch. Like,
bah humbug,
Yeah, it's almost like sometimes I almost think he's like running a bit. But then he's not. He's completely serious.
He's looking for negative things to say, it seems like. But maybe, like, as the panel, suggested, maybe he's just one of those unlikable ass dudes.
I mean, that could be it. Yeah, because I mean, even like at this point too, Shunsuke asks him, "Hey, do you want to go take a bath? Like, let's talk about what we can do tomorrow while taking a bath." And Soda's just kind of like, "Oh, do we have to? Like, I'm so tired. I don't."
Bleh. Yeah.
Which is his reaction to just about everything.
Essentially.
Yeah. So Maya and Kaito leave the room, and now it's just Shun and Sota, and this is where they talk about, hey, what do you want to do after we eat soba? Because we could totally do stuff after we eat soba. And they're talking about how this is the last Saturday of Obon, which, Adelia, I know you did some research on what that is, right?
Hey, so Obon usually happens like mid-August to late August. It's several days. It's essentially the Festival of the Dead, similar to Dia de los Muertos, in that you invite your dead relatives back into the house to feast. Like you go to the graveyard and you lead them back to your house. Ideally, whoa. I mean, that won't work for everyone depending on like graveyard locations, but traditionally that's what happens. And then during that time, there's a lot of festivals going on. You know, different places have these big bonodoris, which is like the dance, and there's like a giant taiko drum in the middle of it. Yes. So that's probably the festival that we later see
Yui and Maya
go to.
Yukata game is strong.
Yeah, strong Yukata game. But and then once it's over, you put your dead relatives back in the graveyard. You lead them back, but in time there's like fireworks and festivals, and it's pretty easy to expect that things would be busy during that time because a lot of people have work off.
Yeah,
like a celebration for those that have passed on,
basically,
with fireworks,
kind of like a remembrance day.
Cool.
So yeah, on the last Saturday of this Buddhist festival, Shinsuke's like, "Hey, yeah, do you want to like get in a giant hamster ball and run on water?" Basically,
like, the only answer to that is yes.
Yeah, who would say no to that? That looks like fun.
Oh yeah. So Sota for once says yes in his life, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do that." So that's what I guess that's what they plan on. So the next day they go to get soba. They go to Sasakura, which is apparently a really nice soba place in the area. So I guess Shinsuke's kind of pulling out all the stops here, right? And at one point during the dinner, I don't remember the exact context, but at some point they talk about how excited they are for balls.
They're talking about the balls, right?
They're talking about the hamster balls.
But you don't want to eat too much because they're worried they might puke. And valid concerns here. I will just say, though, they had some great shots of the food and of the noodles. And man, I wasn't even hungry, but it just looked so awesome. They just look some perfectly cooked al dente noodles. So I was like, oh.
I can't remember a time when I was watching Terrace House where I was just like, wow, that food looks disgusting.
Never.
Same.
Like every single place they ever eat, everything they ever eat looks delicious to the nth degree.
The noodle slide kind of grossed me out, to be honest. But most things look great.
High standards for this guy.
And Yudai's soup looked kind of gross.
There we go. No flavor.
I mean, it just looked like water.
Yeah.
It's edible.
Yeah, edible water, unlike the other kind of water, which isn't edible. So what's interesting here is Shinsuke kind of mentions how the place they're going today, it seems like a place that's more for families and for couples. And Sota responds with, "We'll be having so much fun anyway," which I don't know about you guys, but for me at first I was like, oh, does he maybe swing? Is it
that was a line.
Yeah,
that was a line.
Yeah.
It was way too ambiguous for way too long. I was wondering the whole time, like, is this a date? Do they know? Is this a thing? Is this not? Like, is this plainly stated? So I was left in a lot of kind of limbo there. And you know, as they move on to those hamster balls, I share too in their disappointment on the show. They were like, oh, it's just in this little tiny inflatable pool. I thought it was gonna be out in the ocean, like the pictures showed.
Yeah. Talk about like misleading, right?
Yeah, that was really weird.
Like, it still looked really fun, but it definitely wasn't like going out on a lake in like these giant hamster balls. Maybe that's too dangerous because they couldn't even stand. So
yeah, they ate so much shit in those balls,
and they couldn't even do like them together. They couldn't even do the balls together. Hey.
There's a joke there somewhere.
Sounds worse than I meant it to sound, but they had to do it one at a time. And like you said, they were eating major shit.
I think the only reason that Sota agreed to go on this date, because I really don't, I don't know. I was really expecting him to be like, I don't know, man, that sounds stupid. But I think the idea of watching Shunsuke eat shit for like literally 5 minutes straight was probably appealing to him. He said they're videoing it and like taking pictures the entire time. He's like, this is so fucking funny.
And the way you phrase that there too, like, did he agree to go on a date? I probably would say, I'm guessing he probably did not feel like he was getting asked on a date. He probably was just like, I'm gonna go hang out, you know, like with my dude here.
I don't know.
You know?
Yeah, because he even,
I don't know.
With what Robert was saying, he used it kind of ambiguous. Like,
yeah.
And you know, I have here in my notes too during the scene, I have in all caps, who the fuck is laughing like a seal? because I vividly remember one of them has this weird fucking guffaw that sounds like a seal who like claps their hands. Is it Shun? Yeah.
Shunsuke? Really?
Yeah.
And I mean, he was like laughing. Like he was like, can't hold up the camera to film Sota eating shit anymore.
Shaky can.
It was pretty funny. Like they would face plant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was weird because Sota was like smiling and then he was also laughing and he seemed like a regular person. Like they were in a go-kart and they like had like lunch together, and the entire time he seemed like a normal person.
He seemed like maybe someone who could have fun.
That F word, yeah.
Yeah.
He was smiling unironically.
Although I will say that all kind of shattered for me because they end the date with like they're eating. Well, I think Shunsuke is eating ice cream at those picnic tables or whatever. It's
That
like,
looked good.
It did look good, but it was like, let's take a selfie, and then the camera pans, and you see you see Soda's face, and he's just like, I don't want to be here. Help, please send help.
It was pretty cringy.
His face was just so devoid of any fun and any kind of. This is a good memory I want to enshrine in a selfie.
I'll tell you what, the part where this did feel like a date for me and this whole thing was in the fucking go-kart, because for whatever reason, is there only one go-kart on this track? Like, they couldn't ride their own go-karts? That's what I would have done. I would have been like, here, Robert, let's go and ride this one go-kart. I'll ride, bitch. It's fine. Like, you know what I mean? From like Soda's perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would he just, I don't know. That was the only time it felt like a date, and they had fun. And that was a slow go-kart, but it was very cute to watch.
Here's a question to posit maybe. Do you think that Sota thought, would it be homophobic for me if I did get my own go-kart?
I don't know. It was a weird thing. It was weird to see them riding in the 1-2-seater.
Yeah, fair.
Wouldn't be my first choice. Like if we went in bumper cars, I wouldn't, sit in your bumper car, Robert. To use the same.
Good to know. Thank you.
To use the same example, yeah.
You don't want to bump in my car, man? Come on.
I guess not. I know. What's wrong with me?
So we cut back to the panel, and I think it was the girls on the panel who were asking, like, is it normal for guys to just go out like that and have a good time, like, regardless of sexual identity? And isn't Toku immediately like, yeah, no, that's normal?
Yeah,
right?
He's like, that's absolutely normal. That's like, guys do guy things together.
Right, and the rest of the panel kind of comments on, like, that's how Tokui is with his friend Ozawa. And for those of you who don't know, so Tokui's in a comedy duo, and he lives in an apartment with a guy named Ozawa who's part of another comedy duo. So he pretty much just kind of lives in this perpetual, endless realm of comedy.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. And I guess he and Ozawa hang out a lot, and they take a lot of Instagram pictures with dogs. So...
With dogs?
With dogs.
Yeah.
As most
I don't know what I
Instagram
was
is.
expecting you to say.
Yeah, that pause.
Dogs.
I mean,
With my Pog collection.
Pogs.
With
Alf Pogs,
yep.
Bart. Remember Pogs?
oh my gosh.
Gah.
And anyway,
the Sota and Shun date. I mean, the thing about Terrace House dates is that usually they're pretty much indistinguishable from like friends going out and doing a activity. Like there seems to be a very fine line between when it's like there's specifically a romantic intent and when there's just like a friendship intent, or even an intent to figure out if you want friendship or romance, which is what the Shun and Sota date was, like figuring that out, where that line is. And I think that might be, I feel like Sota knew that this was kind of Shun figuring things out.
Yeah. But I mean, to that point, though, I do agree with you that there are a lot of dates across Terrace House where it's not really kind of explicit that they're trying, like either of them are trying to end up like dating each other, until one of them is just very straight up like, hey, what do you think of me? Or, hey, I like you. You know, like everything leading up to that is kind of like, well, I mean, they could just be friends.
Right. It's relatively ambiguous. I mean, another example would be like, I mean, the dates that Shohei took Seina on were like, he was pushing that romantic vibe, right? At least toward their later dates. Whereas the other one still could have been construed as like friends going out, right? It's not like up until, how we all know that ended, anyone was making a move on each other. Like in this case, in early dates, in Terrace House, I mean, no one's really making a move on each other until each other like confesses feelings.
Guys, can I change gears here just a little bit and add in one of my own personal anecdotes, because I think, again, it is germane to this topic. So this brings me back to, I think it was junior year in high school, and I was hanging out with a guy. I'm not going to name any names, but he was really into Ricky Martin a lot. Okay. This is like when Livin' La Vida Loca was like the biggest song in the world. And him and I were good friends. We lived in the same neighborhood, right around the block from each other, and we just got along. We went to the same high school, whatever. And like, we would go on walks and stuff like around the neighborhood and just like talk and just like shoot the shit. Like we would just walk around at night, and we would go and like there's like a kiddie playground area or whatever, and we'd go and like sit on the monkey bars, whatever, and just like talk and just hang out and chill. And it was never a thing. Like I had a girlfriend at the time, and it was never became a thing. Later though, like years later, the guy told me that he was like, checking to see if there was like an opportunity there or whatever. And like, I never knew. It never occurred to me. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude would like sing Ricky Martin with the enthusiasm of like 1,000 Suns. Like when Livin' La Vida Loca would come on, do you know what I mean? Like he would get into it, like the shoulders, like everything, dude. He was into it like Ricky Martin himself probably. But
would you say he was living La Vida Loca?
He absolutely was the most La Vida Loca of anyone. And I'm just like, I just felt so dumb because I was like, oh man, I just didn't put two and two together there. But he was actually kind of like scoping me out. But like, we were cool, we were friends, and like our friendship just ran its natural course, But I had a girlfriend the whole time. But yeah, it was very shocking to me to see that he was like kind of feeling me out in terms of whether there was a shot there or not. So, and it just reminds me of this date that we're kind of talking about too. Like, but Sota, I think it was pretty clear, to be different here, that he knew, I mean, everyone knew that Shunsuke was there to kind of find his identity and find where his heart really laid in terms of romance.
Yeah. Right. And boy, does he find it fast.
Finds it so fucking fast.
Too fast.
Straight up in the next scene, it's just Yui and Aya sitting in the girls' room, and Shun knocks on the door, comes in, and he's basically like, well, I figured it out. I'm bye. Later.
He's like, I'm leaving. It was sad. It was sad. That was a sad part, too. Yui's doing a lot of crying this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone's confiding in her now. Who knew when she was pulling out her list and stuff, who knew she'd be the girl that people turn to?
Now she has a list of everyone's secrets.
Yeah. Fucking Santa's little helper, indeed.
But yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like, Shunsuke might be the most efficient motherfucker to have ever walked into Terrace House. He walked in, declared his goal, completed his goal, walked out. Not this even like 6 episodes, 7 episodes.
Less than almost. And this doesn't quite confirm my prediction on when we did these predictions here, but like I was worried that he wasn't going to be there very long. If you remember, I brought that. I was like, So
right,
it was sad
going
to see
on
him go.
In his own terms.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen like, he was making progress in school. He's passing those exams. I'd like to kind of seen him more in career and pursuing the makeup thing. I would like to see where that goes. I mean, maybe he would have some weird like one-off jobs or whatever. Maybe do things for TV or film or something. I would have liked to, or fashion. I would have liked to seen some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So sadly, we bid you adieu, Shinsuke. I wish he stuck around a little bit longer.
Yeah, right. and it's a shame because it happened right when he was really coming out of his shell, when we were getting to know him a little bit. And now he's going to leave, and we don't even really know that much about Shunsuke.
Right. He seemed to have a good sense of humor, too, about it. Like when him and Maya were talking, and she's like, oh, I just don't want you to ask him into the bath like this. And he's like, oh, maybe I will now. I was like, oh,
that was really funny.
Yeah.
He was like, get in the bath with me. Like, creepy, like.
Totally. It was hilarious, yeah.
I mean, again, I think this just speaks to he's the most efficient guy that's ever been in Terrace House.
Guess so.
Good for him.
He's the antithesis of Armand.
Yeah. Armand, we got to get an Armand reference in every episode.
We do. He's my man. He's my boy.
So, no, I wish him luck, and I'm glad, that he was able to, again, learn what he needed to learn, and it didn't take very long,
Yes.
So good for him.
So we jump now to the kitchen, and this is like where everyone's there, everyone's gathered together, and this is where Aya formally announces that she's leaving by the end of the month, and Shinsuke kind of piggybacks and says, like, I will be leaving at the same time as her.
Damn. Double whammy.
Damn, son. So next episode, we're probably getting 2 new people, a new boy and a new girl.
Not yet. They got to leave first. We'll see.
Yeah, but I'm saying they'll leave, and then we'll at least probably see like the lower half of the new people's faces.
we just welcomed 3 new faces into the house not that long ago at all. Did anyone see 2 people leaving on this episode? I didn't. It blindsided me.
I sure as hell didn't. And it's like a lot of people are saying, like Reddit and everything else. It feels like we just started a new series of Terrace House because we're getting so many member flips going on.
Right.
It just has an entirely different vibe, the house now.
Oh yeah.
And it's just going to continue to change. I would just like to bring it back to Soda's reaction on everyone's announcement leaving. He's like, am I supposed to be glum?
Yeah. Am I supposed to be sad?
Hell? Dude, is he a lizard person? Is he an AI?
Literally,
like,
he
in
needs
human
a cue.
skin? He's like, yeah,
am I supposed to be
does not
glum?
compute. Is this where I am sad to be like human?
He could not execute sad.exe. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like, dude, come on. I mean, like, I know maybe he's seen a lot of Terrace House, and maybe he's so nonconformist, right? Because every time someone announces they're leaving, everyone's always sad. So maybe this was him sticking it to the man and just being like, fuck you, I'm not sad. Good.
Seriously.
I'm glad you're leaving.
I originally had sympathy for his son. Now I'm kind of like, maybe it's okay.
Maybe you're
to
better
know your
off.
dad. Yeah, like
Not
Lord.
knowing Papa.
Good
Hey, Dad,
Lord.
I missed you. What, am I supposed to feel sad about that?
Yeah. Am I supposed to care? Seriously.
Dad, you were out of my life for the past 4 years. I mean, am I supposed to be glum?
Oh, that
We're
could be a
both
meme.
better off for it.
I
meme.
understand that it's like they're leaving on good terms. They're leaving on, she has a career opening up for her, and he, was super efficient and confirmed what he wanted to confirm to leave. So it's not like they got dumped and they're sad and they're like, I can't be here anymore. But at the same time, it's like you're supposed to act sad that they're leaving because you'll miss them, because you like them, because you have human emotions.
I mean, think about it. Even Noah cried his eyes out when Shohei sang Rambling Rose, right? And Noah's like probably the last person that would be sad about
let me
Shohei
ask,
leaving.
Let me ask you guys this. Okay, Soda, right? He commute to Tokyo or some shit like that?
5 hours
Doesn't
a
he commute
day.
super far? Yeah. Fuck. So here's the $1 million question, which we'll never know unless they have those exit interviews with the panel, which probably won't ever happen. But if Aya, and Soda started at least the early beginnings of a courtship, would she be leaving at this point? They could have shared the commute together. You know what I mean? To Tokyo, essentially. So I kind of think that him basically being like, oh, so you want me to drive you? Just his general demeanor, his general coldness and douchebaggery and motherfuckery going on, essentially, shut the door. And Aya was like, you know what, this is it. I'm donezo. And it was, the job was kind of not an excuse. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it was definitely something that launched her out faster than if she had some kind of traction with Soda.
Right. And I mean, ever since the birthday party happened, I think it was at the birthday party when Aya finds out about his divorce and his child.
Oh yeah, let's not forget about that.
I think with that moment, I was fully expecting Aya to just walk out of the fucking room at that moment. Like, she looked like she's about to get up out of her chair and then just walk. She's like, I'm sorry, I can't handle this. Is
just
what I was
smash
expecting her
the
to say.
champagne bottle on the dining room table.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck this, I'm out.
Fuck, I'm out. And yeah, that's what I was kind of expecting at that
funny.
point. So I think at that point, like, anything she had for Soda was just like gone.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point.
Yeah.
So here's the interesting thing about Shinsuke leaving, right? Is that when he announced to everyone that he's leaving, he didn't give a reason why. He was very cryptic and like, I don't know how to explain it yet, but I am leaving.
The people that he's closest to already know, but he's
Yes.
trying to find a delicate way to put it.
Right.
Right. And Soda just straight up was like later in the living room, he's just like, so you never told me why you're leaving.
Yeah.
He knows why.
Yeah. And then Shun basically lays it all out for him. And it's very straightforward. Just like, I came here to find out if I'm bi-curious, came here to find out if I'm actually bisexual. That date with you helped me figure that out. He called Soda my impetus, which is a weird.
That's a
a
word.
funny
You were my
transition.
impetus.
It's a weird one, but hey, you know what? Good for him.
You're
You are my
density.
muse. Yeah.
You're my density. I mean,
density.
destiny.
Wanchan bai.
Hi. Also, there's a scene that we skipped a little bit over, but we're at Monster Skate Park, which is where
crap.
Taka took Aya back on that skato dato like
Yes.
weeks ago, and we see Kaito kind of just shredding it, bro. He's
Dude,
doing the pipe And
He's doing the pipe, guys.
The pipe.
This isn't even technically a sport, and Robert still doesn't know about it. He's grinding, man. He's grinding the rails. He's he's gleaming the cube.
I don't even know if that one's real.
Verbs.
Yeah,
He's doing
real.
verbs.
Yeah, he's
There you
verbing
go.
nouns, man. He's verbing nouns.
And Taka, he walks in. He's like, "Sup, bro?"
Taka-san, dude, that was epic. I was really hyped for that. That was the ultimate skato dato.
That's the true skato dato.
It was. Oh, skato dato to end all skato datos. I love that.
And honestly, that scene, it doesn't really have much impact in this episode because they just kind of cut it off at the knees. It's kind of like, well, Taka showed up and they have small talk, the end.
And he talks, well, really what we learn is that he's got his eye on Yui.
Yeah, but I feel like
we knew that before.
Yeah, that's been established.
I know, but it's keeping the ball rolling there.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It was just kind of nice to see like a familiar face, even though he was just on this show like 4 episodes ago.
Dude, did you guys notice how mad sweaty they were?
Oh, yeah.
They were talking. They were like dripping sweat. They're probably trying to show off to each other and stuff.
I mean, yeah, cute. Hey, you get sweaty when you're doing kick flip.
Colin, help this man. Help your boy here.
Come on, dude. You don't know what a 360 nollie back kick flip is?
Yep.
Into a Christ pose? Come on now.
Pop, shove it. Anyway,
Too.
A bop it, twist it, pull it.
a 360 bop it.
360
That probably is a move. That's probably a move, guys.
Oh, probably. So we cut to the next night, where Yui mentioned like, yeah, she's gonna go on this like friend date with Maya. So they go to Suwa Shrine. Daily, you have something to say?
Is it a friend date?
Who knows, right?
Because we've already established that they're indistinguishable from each other, and we talked about Maya maybe being one chan bai, one chance bai.
I mean, look, all I'm saying is I didn't rule it out. There was a part of my heart that was going Doki Doki. When the fireworks were going off, I really wanted one of them to lean over and just be like, I like you.
You guys
just
are
right
getting
into the
those
ear.
vibes, huh? You're getting the romantic vibes. I mean, the
Let's
Yukata game
ground
was
out
strong.
In the fireworks.
Like we said, Yukata game was strong. They looked apart. They looked like they were definitely in festival mode. I didn't get the romantic
That shit
vibes
was like straight out of an anime. Like that was
It was.
I like the festival. Festival looks just like that's in the anime. It's
I mean,
did
you guys get any romantic vibes? Because I didn't get any.
I didn't get romantic vibes. I wanted romantic vibes to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, you're willing
that's
into
where I was.
existence. Okay.
So yeah, they go see the fireworks. It's real cute. It's really cool. Very loud. And then they come back. I fucking love this scene. They come back home to the kitchen. The 2 girls walk in. Tadaima. And then Kaito's like, Okae, wow.
Wow.
okay. Wow.
Like, it's so good.
I gotta go back and listen to that now. That's funny.
Yeah.
That should be our intro soundbite now.
Okae, wow.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously he's referring to the fact that they're wearing yukata and they look very cute in it, obviously, right? But I've also heard that wearing yukata can be very uncomfortable daily. I don't know if you have experience wearing them before, maybe. But...
I haven't worn them myself, but I know like it is supposed to be like they're summer kimonos. They're more for, not dying of heat stroke, but simultaneously the fabric's kind of thick and it folds over on itself in order to get that look. So regardless, kimono are not comfortable to wear, like period dot. So as cute as you look, you're not the most comfortable.
So the girls pretty quickly go like, yeah, we're gonna go change and get out of this shit.
Were they wearing those weird like wood slippers with like the 2 little planks of wood?
I don't know.
Yeah, were they
I
wearing
didn't
those?
notice if they were wearing
It seemed like the way they're walking seemed like they were struggling.
What are they called? Geta?
Geta.
Get the hell out of here with that.
Oh, hey, got him. Wow, good
That's the
joke.
first
Wow,
time
good
that
job,
one
Jack.
was ever used.
Proud of you. Man.
Robert's rubbing off on me, guys. Sorry.
And then while it's just the boys, while it's just Kaito and Shun in the kitchen, they both kind of comment on how they look cute. And then Shun's like, but who looked cuter? And Kaito's like, I wonder. I don't know. He's kind of
Kaito asks Yui. I can't remember if this was later or not. But Kaito tells Yui, he's like, hey, so did anyone tell you look cute in your yukata yet?
Yeah.
She's like, no. And he's like, you look cute in your yukata. And I was like, there a boy.
Yeah, literally the very next scene. And then they kind of set up a like, hey, let's go on a dato again. Well, like Yui says that she's going to get like food with Shun tomorrow. She invites Kaito. Kaito's like, yeah, sure. But then let's go on a Kaito skato dato.
See, I mean, this is good things here happening, I think, for Yui and Kaito. But I think that when Shunsuke was asking Kaito, like, hey, who looked better? He was like, he was being ambiguous because he wanted Yui to hear from him, I think, not from Shunsuke. And he just assumed that Shunsuke would kind of, spread that around. Beans. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I could see that. We cut to the last time we see the panel on this episode, and they're basically shipping Yui and Kaito already. And their whole reasoning here is that Yui's such a mom and Kaito acts purely on instinct. So it's like she always reels him in. He always pushes her to do new things, which is like, you know what? They work. They work well.
Give and take.
Mm-hmm. And they reminisce about Guy and Nikki.
Explain this to me, because I have not seen this, and there was some terminology used there that was very confusing to my virgin ears.
The Tetris bang?
Tetris bang?
Tetris bang.
Oh wait, why are you asking us like we know what they're talking about? At least
wait, you don't?
The Tetris bang?
We saw a Guy and Nikki.
Oh, this is an Aloha State.
Okay, this does get pretty X-rated actually. So when Guy and Nikki, right, when he basically rolled over and then they started smooching and then they fell off the couch together. Okay, that's essentially what happened there. But there wasn't any like sexual relations happening. That's like the joke that Yama was making. Was that?
Yeah, he got pretty explicit in being like, did it not go in? Like,
yeah, like,
Yama.
Like,
and then they were saying that it's not that easy. Like, if it happened that easily, then it would happen all the time. It happened on the bus. It happened in luge in the Olympics. Like, they were making all those jokes. Like, it's not quite that simple. You don't have to be within close proximity. It's a little more complicated than that.
And like, my question too is like, what is the Tetris bang? Is it like that moment where you bring a block in, a tetramino in, and then like when it hits the bottom, you slide it to the right or the left to like.
Whoa, this is getting really.
Is that the Tetris bang?
Daly's face right now.
I don't think we're supposed to think about it that hard.
No, I've never heard this term before. I'm not familiar. I can't share with you.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, none of us are pro Tetris, esports athletes. What if like and he pulled off the patented Tetris bang?
Tetris bang for the win. Yeah,
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of trivia here, guys. The pieces of Tetris are called tetraminos.
That's what I said.
Now you know.
Tetraminos. You remember that?
I'm fully expecting to just open up the Kama Sutra, and the first thing I see is Tetris bang.
Tetris bang. Guys, remember when Ubisoft made a Tetris game and all the tetraminos were living beings with their own feelings and emotions?
What's the Kama Sutra? Joke.
Anyway,
so
let's open up that can of beans.
We smash cut this podcast into the backyard of the house, and all 6 of them are celebrating and kampai to Shun and Aya, kind of like a good remembrance celebration. And I don't know, it was kind of a sad moment, Aya's all teary-eyed. She's saying that she's gonna miss them all, saying Okae. Like,
it's almost I'm not trying to sound like a downer. It was a sad time, and I'm glad that they had their fun, but it's starting to get a little formulaic. Like, you have like a little party in the back, you sit on the Colemans in the backyard, you eat some good food, then you get a little drunk, then you start ugly crying, and then you just kind of say goodbye. Like, it's happened before, and I'm just getting a little bit of deja vu here. But
well, not everyone can write a song to say goodbye, Jack.
I guess.
And have it be the number 1 on your profile on Spotify.
Come back to me, Shohei.
My one thing that stood out in that moment when they were all having like the outdoor barbecue, at some point, I don't remember who it is, but at some point they're like joking around and someone refers to Sota as Papa. And it's
is
that allowed?
Was it Shinsuke?
Okay with that?
Was it Shinsuke?
It might have been Shinsuke. I don't remember.
Maybe. I mean, in that moment, my connotation for that was like, you're like, you don't want to do anything that like isn't in you. Like, you're so narrow-minded.
He's the old man.
Yeah.
He is the old man of the group.
Literally. Man, everyone's so young in that group. But yeah, I remember they also had to like chide Sota into being like, hey, take a bath with all the guys. Like, this might be the last time you'll be able to take a bath with like these 2 guys. Which is kind of like, it's just, again goes to show how in his own bubble he is, how he's just like really doesn't want to do anything he doesn't want to do.
Right. But he ends up begrudgingly agreeing.
That was a strange bath, guys. Strange happenings. I don't know.
Weird.
I feel like every bath scene on the show, I'm learning something new. And also, Daly, to your point earlier about like target audience for this, like I can tell you right now, I am officially starting to feel like not the target audience for this show, just with the ratio of dude butt. And I'm not sitting here advocating for more female butt in the show. Like, I'm happily married. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying now, I'm thinking like maybe the show is more targeting girls because there is a propensity for dude ass, particularly in opening new doors. I don't think anyone would disagree with that.
We got a lot
It's
of
like
pubis
it's like
too.
10 to nothing at this point. Not that I'm counting, but
Oh,
I mean, we
are you
did
sure you're not
have-
counting?
We didn't have. We had some side boob when Mayu was there.
Yeah,
and
they had
some
that
Sana
really...
scenes, but that's fair. I think that's fair. I think maybe it's more of like a cultural acceptance of like male nudity out in the open as being like you can still have like a PG-13 rating without like if it was a woman, it wouldn't be PG-13 anymore. I'm pretty sure there's like some kind of
Interesting.
rating systems that's like if you see male nudity, it's fine. If you see female nudity, that's like pornographic then.
and that's weird because if you go to like Europe, right, like you'll just see boobs on like a shampoo commercial in between, you know, in between the shows you're watching. Like there's like breasts are not a thing really in certain parts of Europe.
They are a thing.
I mean, they're not a big deal.
They exist.
They're not like a ratings kind of barrier, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so
Wait,
speaking
are
of,
you saying that boobs only exist in Europe?
that's not what I'm saying at all.
They're imports,
but
yes.
Speaking of, yeah, we import them. Yeah, exactly.
Are they real? They're imports, yes.
Yeah. Notice that Trump hasn't started a tariff on that yet. I doubt that'll happen.
Yikes.
So, no, but to go back on you saying that PG-13, I'll tell you what was not PG-13, that eye fool that Kaito gave to Shunsuke. Like,
Dude, it was
pardon
a
me here. Let
fucking-
me just step over your lap.
That was so unnecessary, too.
Let me just straddle you.
Yeah,
Really
let me just
straddle you.
like, just a fucking face full of twig and berries.
Dude, I
Like,
get self-conscious if I'm in an airplane and if I have to step over someone to go to the bathroom. I'm like, do I give them the butt? Do I give them the crotch? Which one? I'm like self-conscious for that. And people will just generally get out of their seat and stay in the aisle and let you out. That's how like phobic we are, right? About like that close male-on-male contact, I guess. Here is just like, let me just put my twig and berries right in your face. Like it's gonna drop water on your forehead. I'm gonna like, step over here now.
I think Shunsuke's just like
It's a
looking
weird thing.
Dude,
Dude,
just
the
looking around
the
it.
camera did not even like flinch, like straight up butt cheeks, like right there. It was a thing, dude. I was taken aback. I was not ready.
I was expecting to hear a.
Oh, my God.
Guys, when I saw that, I was like, dude, that seems like it's too close, even for just two friends.
Dude,
right?
he was like Shinsuke was sitting there like with his knees kind of up and kind of like steps over his knees.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm just like,
crotch first. That's not.
putting-
It's just not polite, dude. It's just rude. at
like
that
that's
point.
blowjob range essentially.
It totally
And it's like,
was.
dude. It's a bit much.
You're not even
Artful?
exaggerating. That's the thing about it.
As the photography is, in order to avoid showing anything more than butts, like, there has to be, like, outtakes that they didn't have in there because you can't film, like, people getting in the bath, showering off, getting out of the bath, showering off, and, like, leaving without getting something in there,
Right.
which
Oh yeah,
really
so the
changes
producers-
some of the
Kaito-
context of this show,
Kaito
I
got-
feel like.
Kaito got something in there, all right, Daly.
Oh my god. Yeah,
So I
but
guess
yeah, the people in the editing room have definitely seen everyone's dick. That's for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
That's what we're saying. Yeah, they definitely have Terrace House Rule 34.
You just know that.
Basically, yeah.
Like, this is the
I mean,
fact.
isn't that
These are
technically
true.
what those outtakes are? Kind of.
Oh man,
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
what a
But
step.
I mean, yeah. Other than that, the scene does kind of end emotionally. It ends kind of lackluster. It's kind of like, well, these two are leaving. The guys are in the bath.
What a send off for Shinsuke. Like,
Yeah,
something
like,
for
here's
you
my
to
dick.
remember me by. Like, I thought the Noah tap on the head was bad. This is worlds
Yeah,
beyond that.
Yeah, well, the weird thing too was like, well, Kaito gets out, right? And then Sota's like, yeah, I'm not staying in here alone with him. Gets out.
Oh, yeah, he got out fast with the
immediate.
quickness.
It did feel awkward, especially
rushed.
when, Shun is like submerged and blowing bubbles and kind of like watching them. It framed it kind of strangely, and I definitely hope that's not the very last we see of him then.
No, yeah, I hope not too. I agree with that. Is the water clear or is it like cloudy?
It's cloudy.
It's cloudy, but I'm guessing it's because they probably put some sort of minerals or something.
Is that I mean, is it? I don't know. Onsens, like, is it normally
It
clear?
could be herbal minerals,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
I mean, that's just a typical thing you put in, like some, like not a bath bomb, but like something similar to it. Traditionally, but also that's very convenient for the film crew then, because you don't have to worry about seeing through the water.
Right. I feel like Noah and Shunsuke was clear. I'll have to go back and check the tape though.
Yeah, you want to go check the tape and confirm something like that?
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
Can do it right now.
So that wraps us up for this episode. First and last date. Jack, do you want to kind of spew out the contest notes?
Contest is still going on, guys.
Yo.
It's still a thing. We are starting to receive some iTunes reviewage going on, so appreciate that. And that is going to only increase your chances of winning this awesome, sweet Tadaima prize that we got going on. So, guys, again, we're just trying to build the following here. We need your help. We cannot do it ourselves. Essentially, we're running a contest right now. Follow us on Instagram at Tadaimagram. Follow us on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and then leave us a review, preferably on iTunes, preferably a good review, but we're not going to tell you what to do. But also, if you're on any other platform there where you can leave a review for a podcast, do that, please. And once you have those 3 steps done, you are finished there. You are in our contest. We will be announcing the winners here, I'm going to say, in the middle of January. So you have some time, but do not wait. So go ahead and do it, and it's going to be worth it. It's going to be a sweet prize, and help us out. Thank you so much.
The hard date's been set, ladies and gentlemen.
I just said the middle of January. That's not a hard date.
A hard window of a date has been set.
Hard windows.
I mean, I hope my windows are hard. If you have any questions, feedback, anything you think we missed in this episode that we should have talked about, email all those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. Our next episode is going to be coming out on December 28th. We're going to talk about the next episode in Opening New Doors. This has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itekimasu.
Email us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at Tadaimagram, on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Tadaima, a Terrace House Podcast.